This is Irontrader. This is the last call of the day and of the week here. So we'll take a look here at Bitcoin, gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. We'll take a look at the indexes, which are turning red right now. Okay, at the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas, along with the Baker Hughes red count. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy something stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin. Now you can see here how we had that topping tail, and now we just have this sideways action. Now yesterday what we do is we put that low in of 117.720, but I said just watch this 8-day 117.330. That's going to be key. Today's low here we had 117.505 level. Okay, so we're sitting here holding that 8-day, which is very, very key. Now, if we happen to lose this 8-day, then we're going to be looking right to the bottom of this candle at 116.90, and then we'll come down here to this gap at 115.6035, and then we'll come to the fill here at 114.380, and then we'll look to the top of this candle here. We're looking at 112.590. Then we're going to be looking right for that 21-day at 111.121 level, and then right below that we have that 50-day. However, right now we're holding that 8-day. You can see how the 8 days on the upside, 21-day, 50-day, even the 100-day and the 200-day looking very, very bullish here. We just have some sideways action after we have that topping tail. That's usually how that goes once you get those topping tail situations, okay? So really nothing to worry about here, okay? So here on the upside here, well, we're going to be watching, we're going to look at the bottom of the candle, 118.675 level. We'll come up the top of this candle here, looking at 122.65. We'll come up here, 120.360. And then we have 126.95, and then we'll look at today's high, 121.165. We crack that. I'm going to go right to that 123.615 level and retest it. Okay, then what we have to do is we got to see, what the reaction is once we get there. Do we crack through? If we crack through, you're going to go to that 125.5 level, and then we could venture all the way up to that 135. But I think we just have a sideways action, a little consolidation here, just like we had in the past, which is very, very healthy for the old commodity. Okay, so again, just watch that 8-day, and then we just watch that gap and that fill, and then we come all the way down to that 21-day. Now here we had this very, very strong, got to an overbought situation, but now we're just hanging right on here. You can see how strong this is. The green is still over your red. It's just a little bit of sideways action. Now, here what we have here on the weekly chart, well, this weekly here is looking, okay, we have this like a topping tail situation here for the week. It's a red candle. So we want to look at the bottom at 116.90, and then we want to come to the top of this candle here at that 112.345, and then as long as we're holding this 8-day at 109.240, we have a good shot at just going sideways kind of an action. Now you can see here on the weekly how when we started rallying up here, we just get this consolidation here. Now who knows how long it's going to last, but again, okay, once you get crack up here, 123.615, eventually I think you're going to take that out. The question is, where is this going to land? If we lose that 8-day, then I think we could come right down to the bottom of that gap and that fill, and I think even down to the 21-day, but I think that would be a really good buying opportunity here to take it long, okay? Now, I've been scalping here, this BITX, been a really, really good trading situation in there. You can also do IBIT. If you're trading ETFs, there's a lot of ways to trade it, but that's really the easiest ways I found to get in and out very, very quickly. Okay, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. Okay, here we have the old gold. Now, I didn't take no trade here in gold today because there really isn't really a whole lot what you call here, okay? So on the downside, you're really watching that 21-day, 33.45. Then we got that 8-day at 33.45. And then we have that 50-day at 33.35. So actually, we're holding this whole situation up here, just a sideways action. But for me, to get into the GLD here, I want to make sure that we're closing back above this 33.89 level. That's going to be very, very critical to get above, okay? Once we do that, you can strike that 34.19 level, then we can venture up to the 34.68 and possibly even that 34.76 level. However, when you see this sideways action just like this, and it's just really isn't a whole lot of anything like watching paint dry, that really builds up momentum just like we have here on the silver. And then once it breaks up, or it could break down, in this case it broke up here, we put in this really nice bull flag, and then we just rolls right on up here. And that's something very, very good what could happen here to gold. So you got to be a little bit patient, but just look at the whole overall gold chart here. This has had a humongous run kind of a situation, and now we just have this consolidation period, okay? So that's what we're looking at there. Now, On the downside here, we want to watch, I say, the 21-day, the 8-day, and the 50-day. But again, we lose that. We'll come to yesterday's low, 33.14. Come down here at that 32.95 level, 32.90. Come down here at 32.66, and then you retest at 32.50. And then we have the old Hondo there at 32.27. But right now here, this is looking very, very strong, very, very sideways action. Same way here with the RSI, we just have sideways action, and the same way with the MACD. Okay, so right now here, I'm just being very, very patient, and I'm waiting for it to close, get it back above here, or at least attack this 33.89. Then I jump into GLD and take it up higher. Now, here we have the silver. Now, I was in the SLV. I'm totally out of the trade now. I have no position going. What I was watching here is this. We had as high today as 38.82. I was watching the top of this candle here at 38.74. You can see how we got above it, but you notice that it couldn't hold it. Okay, it's the same way with here. See how when we rallied up on this gold here, you got 33.85. Didn't even make it to that 33.89. So that tells me that you got to get out. This was a little bit higher. I just put a stop loss in there out of the silver, out of the SLV, so I'm out of the trade right now. Okay, so what we're really watching on the upside is that 37.89, and then we can come up here 38.74. Sorry about it, 38.74 level, and then we come up here. We look at that 39.22, and then we have 39.57. You crack that, you go into 40, 42, then work your way to 45 area. Okay, now you can see here this still is a very, very bullish chart kind of situation. We're holding that 21-day, we're holding that 8-day. Even it came down here yesterday, made a lower low, but it wanted to close above that 8-day. So this is going to be very, very key support, that 38.10. We lose that, we come to yesterday's low, 37.68, and we have your 21-day down here at that 37.09 level. Okay, so you can see here the strength on the old chart is looking still very good. Your green is over your red kind of a situation. It's just that I'm not really what you call a big time silver or gold trader. So I just take it. I don't even trade on the short side. I just jump in on the long side on the GLD and the SLV for silver when I can see opportunity. That's what I look at. Okay. So now what I'm watching here is this 39.57. If we can close above that, then I would jump in the SLV here and take it to 40, 42, and possibly even 45 level. That's the same way here. But gold, I would take it if we can get above this 33.89. Then I would jump into GLD because I know you're going to hit at least that 34.19 and possibly retest that 34.76 level. Okay, let's take a look here now at crude and natural gas. Okay, here we have the old crude oil. Okay, and here we have natural gas. Now you can see here where crude oil, we step right back here. This morning I gave you a weekly chart also, and you can see this is like a really big bear flag situation. Okay, so now you can see where we rallied up here. We went right into here to this 8-day, 67.23 and 67.32 level. We went right in there, and you notice that it could not get above it and closed above it. So I took a little short ski on the SCO. That was a really nice little trade there today. It got as low as 16.33 and then rallied high as 16.78 there. I wasn't looking for much here on a Friday situation. I'm looking for 30 cents. Now I usually trade 5,000 shares in that, but what I do is I cut it back here on Fridays, and I'm only trading 2,500 shares. So I got the 30 cents times the 2,500 shares. Okay, so that's what I do on Fridays. I just cut the positions down because last thing you want to do is get stung and then going into the weekend all pissed off and coming out, on Monday trying to revenge trade. Believe me, it's not a good look. I've been there. It's not good. Okay, so what we're looking at here on the upside is we're watching that 8-day, 67.24, and that 21-day, 67.32. You get above it, 68.33, that's that 200-day, there's your target. And you can see here what a strong target that it is. Now, if you get above that, then we come up here, 69.65 level. Then we can start venturing all the way up here to your 71.33. Your 72.32, your 73.90, and venture all the way up here until we hit your 78.40 level. But right now, that's just not what you have. And you can see here how you got this rollover pattern kind of a situation. Your 8-day, your 21 days starting to roll over kind of a situation. Okay. Now on the downside, we want to watch that 65.22. That's your 50-day, and we want to watch that 65.18. We're sitting right here. Okay. Now, if that's lost here, we got a nice target right there at 64. That's what we're going to be looking for, and that's basically just the bottom of that candle. Okay. Now, again, we start losing that 64 level. Well, we can just follow the candles down here. Okay. So you got 62.82. You got 62.50. We have 62.17, and just march it down. 61.06. We come down here, 60.55, and then we have your 59.74 level. Bring that price channel right across. Okay. Now, eventually, I think you're going to go right back into the 50s here. I really don't see, unless you got some kind of a war situation, you got some kind of a disruption, like for hurricane season, something like that could take it up higher. But right now, the market is supply and demand is right there. There really isn't any issue kind of a situation. Okay, so upside, I say again, just watch that 8-day to 21-day. We get above that, you got the 200-day, which is going to be, got to respect it, because look how strong it is and look how much nice it held the situation. Okay, downside, just watch that 50, 100-day. We lose that, we're going to be looking for that 64 target. Okay, now RSI here, you're not nowhere near overbought or oversold here. The green is below your red, shows momentum to the downside, but this still is a nice big bear flag. Look at a weekly chart here, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly, and this is a nice big bear flag situation. Now, Natgas here. Well, Natgas here was actually kind of interesting there today. UNG hit 1550. And then it rocked as high as 1601 there today here. Okay. Now, I didn't even take a trade in natural gas here today. I don't really see a whole lot there, kind of a situation. Okay. So I just passed on that today. There was a lot other better trades out there than what was going on here. Okay. So what we're really looking at here is we have this. It's almost like a tweezer top situation. We have to get right back above that before we can hit that 365 and before we hit that 375 level, and then we're looking for that 384 level. Okay, but you have to get in close above that 100-day in order to do that. Now, on downside, we want to watch right here. We want to watch that 50-day at 353, and then we want to watch 351. There's your 21-day. And then we want to watch right there is at 344, and then your 344, your 8, and your 200 SMA here. Now, the 8-day is curling up here. So this could provide very, very good support if this does come down. But right now, we just have this sideways action. So what you're trading here, besides this 21-day and that 50-day, is you're trading the bottom here, that 344 on the downside and that 365 on the upside. Okay, but you can see how the 100-day is rolling over here now. So this is going to be a sideways action, and you're going to need some kind of a catalyst that either going to bust this higher or she's going to bust down lower. Okay. Now, RSI, you're only sitting at 52, plenty of room to run. And we have your green over your red kind of a situation. So this is all looking here. It's really not going to looking too bad here, because what we have is we broke that downtrend and now we have the uptrend. So we have a little consolidation here. No big deal. Okay. But the key, what I'm watching for here is a back above that 365. And then we can start hitting these other targets here. So right now, today, I did not take any trade in natural gas. I took the short ski here. Yeah, on the crude, and that was a good trade, therefore, on a Friday. Okay, let's take a look here now at the indexes. Okay, now the indexes are all turning down, but really not by much. S&P is down 5. The Nasdaq is down hardly. What is the Nasdaq down? Nothing. Okay, and the Dow's down 200. So it really is like a nothing burger going on here today. I think people are a little bit patient. Now, next week, we got a lot of earnings there. You got that. I did a midday trading on it there. You got Microsoft, and you got Apple, and you got Meta. You got a lot of really stuff that can really move the market here now. Okay, so when you look at Netflix is down 63 there today. It really came off hard. I thought they had good numbers, but again, the stock had a big run-up situation here. Okay, so now when we look at the Dow here, we're looking at this 8-day. We're kind of really hanging around it. We put that bottoming tail in there, held that 21-day, then she rallied up, but you notice that it just couldn't carry through. So now we're hanging right around that 8-day. We start losing it here. We're going to look to the bottom of this candle here, 44.02, and then we're going to look right there for the retest there at that 43.893 here. Okay, but right now we're just holding this sideways action here. But you notice that we have a high, a lower high, and a lower high. Kind of like a downtrending situation. So be a little bit careful here. And the RSI is falling off here. The green is below the red. So again, nothing goes up forever. So always remember that. Downside, always watch that 50-day if it sells off hard, that 200-day, and then watch that gap and watch that fill. Okay. Now on the S&P here, it's the same thing here. You can just see here it's just a big time melt up kind of situation. We made a nice higher high there today. What we're looking for is the original high was 63.04. You made 63.15 here. So actually it's not really looking too bad on the S&P. So we're watching here on the downside is that 62.71 level. Then we'll watch yesterday or at the bottom of this candle 3 days ago, a low 62.01. And then we have that 61.90. Now we also have that 50-day. We have the retest at 59.43, your 200-day and 100-day, but always watch this gap okay, and then watch that fill, okay, for support levels, okay. That's always very key. But right now here, this looks like it's just a sideways action, which could melt up, and we got to see how this is all going to shake out now with all the earnings start coming piling in. Okay, here we have the old Nasdaq. This is my favorite here. We made another high there today. Okay, very, very nice here. We're looking for that price channel at 29.11. We made 29.980. Rallied up here pretty nice here, and we're kind of hanging on the top. Bottom line here, just watch that 27.06 on the bottom. Watch the bottom of that candle right there at that 25.07, and then we watch that old 21-day. We have the gap, we have the fill, and then we have the 50-day, 100-day, and the 200-day. That's all going to give us really good support once this does sell off, and eventually it will. Nothing stays up like this here for forever, no matter what anybody is going to tell you. I've been doing this for more than 2 decades here, and this always lasts. Nothing goes up forever. So always, always remember that. But in the meantime, this is a good trader's market. Good trader's market. Good trader's market. Okay, just remember that. Just don't go all crazy. I'm going to go all in kind of a situation. You know what I'm saying? Go into earnings and then see what happens with the earnings. Look what happened with Netflix. Okay, Netflix I thought had good numbers. Okay, but you know what I'm saying? The stock got hammered. Okay, so you're okay. Netflix now, you're holding out. You're down 65 points there on the old Netflix there. So, you know, it's not the news that matters. It's the reaction to it. Okay, now I'm going to be out of the office Sunday through Wednesday. However, I will have a video for you Sunday night. I'll have a video for you every morning. It'll be a little bit later, probably between 8 and 8:30 for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And that way we can get you going there for the day. At least get you going on the Bitcoin, the gold, the silver, the crude oil, natural gas. It's on that order kind of a situation, though. Just remember next week, a lot of tech earnings coming in. All right. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you next week.